All right. So this is gonna be. Whew, I am like coming off of some heavy sleep changes in my fucking like schedule. This is gonna be episode what 4, I think. Well, that's not how I want to do it. I want to do it the classic way. Please don't be hard as fuck, or be hard as shit. Whatever. Fuck. What is this? Ferment? Is that like smell or something? Undergo fermentation. The drink had fermented, turning. Well, in what context? Because there's a lot of different. It's a noun and a verb. What is the? Well, I guess this is noun generator. Random. No, this is word generator. Fuck. What is it? Do I get to pick? I'll just do both. Okay, let's see. Drink had fermented. Incite or stir up trouble or disorder. Apologize for fermenting in this chaos. Agitation, the excitement among a group of people, typically concerning major change and leading to trouble or violence. So, like revolution. Okay, so it's like stirring. It's like stirring, brewing change, essentially. Jeez. Well, 1 second. Be right back. Brewing change, right? You know, I think that might be one of the biggest fears of somebody in power is the subtle ferment of order within their kingdom, you know? Like, especially if there's multiple people that they're in charge of. It'd be different if it was like one person and you can kind of keep an eye on them, but people influence other people, so it's really hard to tell how much influence one person is having on another person, especially if you don't talk to them much. I think that's why like kind of checking in is important, and there's like HR meetings and evaluations and things like that. At least that's what I think. You definitely should be looking for fermentation of revolution, especially if you're in charge. Let me look at this definition again. So let me start with the verb. Well, I'll start with the noun. Verb came first. Start with the verb. Also, I'm eating. My brain is resetting. I'm undergoing something, so my brain is resetting. So I don't know how this is gonna go at all. I'm like fucking. My sleep schedule's upside down. A lot's going on. Well, is it pronounced two different ways? Because we have this, and then we have this. Let's try.
Ferment.
Ferment.
Well, first of all, this person's 13. That's a little weird.
Ferment.
We have ferment and we have ferment.
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 Ferment. Okay.
Ferment.
Undergo fermentation, the drink get fermented. So, trouble or disorder, incite or stir up, agitation and excitement among a group of people. Begin to ferment. I feel like 2 and 1 are the same. Right? Fermenting this chaos. Just ferment. Okay. So, man, this is difficult. Let's talk about what times I have stirred ferment. Or ferment. Whatever. One of them. Can I think of a time where I was just being an asshole? Is it ever good? Well, I think it's kind of inevitable with an empire, at least. The fermentation of your subordinates and, like, the people you're under. I don't think an empire can last forever. First of all, I think that's the first thing. I'm also eating oatmeal. I have dinosaur oatmeal. I have some dinosaur eggs here and some fucking protein oatmeal. I'm going to get into this. It's just a lot to think about. I don't think, like, an empire can last forever. There's not been one that has, and I don't think there will be one that will, because for an empire to grow, the fall is kind of inevitable. I think the pieces that make an empire fall, I haven't done too much research into this, in terms of like one of the things I want to look into for sure is like how the Roman Empire fell and see the congruencies between the Roman Empire near its peak and how America was, because we're definitely going down. Everybody says that, but it's like it's true. I think one of the indicators of an empire falling is like wokeness between just wokeness in general. Now, it's no secret wokeness is indicative of a low IQ. There's been studies that show this, and you could just talk to one of these motherfuckers, and they're just pretty stupid. But it's kind of the combatants against the norm, which is the problem. As you know, this wokeness is a fermentation of a belief that will always directly conflict with the norm of tradition that's been going on for years and years up to this point for whatever empire you have. I'm going to eat a bite of this oatmeal here, and if it gets awkward if I'm trying to chew, I might not do it again. I swallowed the shit out of that. Pause. I think, like, the only way, if I was in charge, for example, to combat a ferment in whatever I was in charge of would be to see it first and be prepared and anticipate it, as opposed to being reactive to it. That would take a great deal of foresight, and I don't think it could be like your first time ruling whatever you're ruling and get, the seeing around corners type deal perfect. But I do think that might be the only combatants, unless you're extremely reasonable. Because no one wants to lose power once they get it, right? Nobody wants to lose it. They're fine with maybe exchanging it, but nobody wants to lose. I don't think lose power. Not really. Unless it's too much for them. But even still, people will literally drive themselves. I mean, Joe Biden is dying in office, and he just wants the power. Which is a pretty good example. But it's definitely killing him. It's not making his life easier, that's for sure. Prime example right there, One of the things I wonder is, so Donald Trump has all this, controversy with this trial and bullshit. It doesn't really, nobody really fucking, it doesn't matter. He's still going to run, could still win, who cares, right? But it's just like it looks bad, and everybody's like, oh, his presidency's ruined. Nope. It's going to be fine. And it's actually, you could argue, he doesn't give a shit because more people are going to know his name. Press is press, Joe Biden's been iffy with these fucking student loan things, whatever. And all we've been hearing about is Trump in this trial. You've heard his name for weeks. What if that was the point? Because the election is soon, What if it's intentional? That's all I'm saying. I don't know. But then again, I don't know why CNN... I'm getting off topic here. All I'm asking is, did he see the ferment brewing? Because there's no way he didn't, right? I mean, it's Donald Trump. He's not a fucking idiot. He knows what's... I mean, you can say, Donald Trump's stupid. Dude, he's the president of the United States. He was the president. No moron can be president. You just can't. Well, this president's mad, bad situation. Shut up, dude. You don't know what you're saying. He's the president. Nobody spawns in office. Dude, he got it. One way or another, he got it. So, I mean, he goes down in history as one of the fucking 50 men to get it. So, hey, call him what you want, but he was president. I wonder if he saw it, He saw the fermentation of his fucking... Not even impeding doom, because I think he's going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb right now and say that there's 0% chance Trump will go to prison. Maybe jail, but prison? No. He's not getting locked up, I don't think. I'm going to... I don't really know what I'm going to base this off of. Let me see if I can tie this back to the theme of today. Fermentation. Ferment. I think this is something you might have prepared for. It's going to be pretty bad, maybe bad. I mean, well, what would you consider bad? Felonies? Does he give a shit? What, is he going to not get a job again? You understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's the first president in history to get a felony, but that's kind of sick. You know what I mean? Like, be dope as fuck. Because, I mean, he's done. He's retired. He fucking doesn't give a shit. Like, who cares? Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Let's say he gets convicted on everything. Has a bunch of felonies, doesn't go to prison. Who gives a fuck? Oh, his name's tainted. Like, dude, you're just hating. That's, I don't know. He's out of office. It doesn't matter. Like, move on. Like, his job's done. Imagine if the next race is close in November. How all these people are going to feel. I think it'll be very, very close. I don't think it'll be a landslide at all. So, let's see. How could you disguise fermentation intentionally? When I got cheated on, like, I smelled it. And I think that's one thing I looked it up and I was like, how, I think it was after the fact. I was like, how do you know if you've been cheated on? Blah, blah. And everybody can kind of, like, sniff it out. You can, like, smell something wrong. So I say this to say, like, the human is very bad at hiding emotions. At hiding reactions. Good at hiding emotions, but reactions, not really. Like, if we have time to kind of think about something, I think we have a better chance at concealing it. But reactions are natural. And it's extremely difficult. You have to train yourself to hide them. And the only way to hide them is to have been in a situation where you've been exposed to something that will trigger that reaction before, and knowing what you're going to do / say / feel / look like, you know? And I say this to say, I guess the best way you could hide fermentation of, like, you know, a brewing revolution is to hide your reaction to if maybe you're questioned about it, or maybe somebody brings it up in conversation. I feel like a revolution is kind of something you want to hide until it's too late, for sure. Especially if you're not looking for significant recruitment. Okay, mentally I'm getting in the zone a little bit. Nice. Fuck. Add a sig. These need to be longer. So, what is the opposite of fermentation? Damn, hard question. Let me take a sip while I think about that. I might take a bite as well. It's been a couple minutes. The opposite of fermentation. Is it not just nothing? And not nothing, I mean like stagnation, like nothing happening. Because fermentation implies that something will occur in the future. So I think the opposite is, like, specifically that everything is fine and nothing will happen in the future. Or it could just be either that, where everything is fine, A, or B, out of the blue, you know? Because fermentation implies that it's brewing. So if it isn't brewing, either nothing is happening or something significant will happen, like this. One of the two. I'd say those are the opposites. I think that's correct. Let's see. What else can I talk about? Substance. Oh, I know that in, like... Oh, I watched Orange is the New Black years ago. Maybe 3. Probably 4. Ages ago. I think before. I want to say, like, honestly, before college. Was I watching it with my ex? No. So it was definitely high school. And they were, like, fermenting, you know, fruits and shit to make booze in prison. And 1, I was wondering how feasible that is. And 2, if it tastes good. I've never done it. I'm thinking if I should. Nah. Just get sick. How difficult is it to... How hard is it to do? to ferment fruit into booze? Okay, if it takes like uh-oh. If it takes like 2 weeks, I'm gonna cheat for a second, okay? How long does it take to ferment fruit into alcohol? Oh, it already auto filled my shit. 1 to 2 weeks between 54 to 90 degrees. That's a huge range. Or until your hydrometer reading is stable for 2 consecutive days. Okay, don't have a hydrometer, so I'd have to purchase a hydrometer. Well, let me show you the screen here, so you're not left out. So I guess I could put it in a jar, something like that. But like 2 weeks for this is not super. I mean, what percent is it? Because if it's like 3%, this isn't gonna fucking fuck me up. It also looks like it tastes like dog shit. $8? Eh. So $8, some fruit, jar, little boobadoop, beebadeep. Hey. And then you get fucking shit face, right? I mean, that's kind of what it sounds like. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. It looks kind of cool, but doubt it. I was thinking of ferment with Jesus in the water into wine, but I think that wasn't that. Okay, let me look at the third and fourth, let me look at the fourth definition here. A fermenting agent or enzyme. Okay, so an enzyme? Conceptually, what is an enzyme? An enzyme is kind of a catalyst, right? I think. At least, that's its function. So, what could be used to ferment something? Books. That's why they burned a lot of books. Burned the shit out of the Library of Alexandria. Pretty sure that's what library it was. Burned the fuck out of that library. That is tough. Damn, imagine the knowledge lost. Imagine. Jesus. What else? What else is used to incite fermentation of revolution? What would be the best thing? Ooh, what would be the best thing to incite a revolution? Like, maybe the vocal minority that I talked about a bit ago? Okay, well, how would you strategize it? Okay, let's come up with a dream scenario. We want to ferment a revolution. What is the best way to go about it? We have to pick a country. America. How do we start a revolution on purpose? Well, first you need an emotional argument. I don't think logic would do very well because there's a lot of women and also there's a lot of bitch-ass men. So with that combination, you'd probably need something more emotional based. You could see how that happened with George Floyd and, fucking COVID and things like that. People get real emotional and people will destroy cities. Motherfuckers will break windows if you make them mad, right? But they won't have a real reason to. So let's go with an emotional argument. Something that doesn't really make sense, like, I don't know, we could piggyback off race or sex, but I feel like that's kind of overplayed. We could do age. Nah, because then people would jump into different groups as the revolution progresses. It's a poor idea. I feel like race is pretty easy one. But how do we make something bigger than George Floyd, you know? I mean, I'm just brainstorming here. Bigger than George Floyd? Well, what do we have that already didn't present revolutions? 4 black men beat a black guy. I think the problem is it's nobodies that are killing blacks or like African Americans. So I think the way to start a revolution is to get somebody who's a serious member of one extreme to combat a serious member of the other extreme. For example, this will never happen. But let's say, I don't know, Donald Trump becomes president. This would probably start a revolution. Donald Trump becomes president in this universe and calls, like, I don't know, Obama the N-word. This is so fucking stupid. And then as a result, Obama strikes back, which even if this would happen, it would never happen. Obama probably wouldn't respond. But if it did happen and Obama, like, fought back and they went back and forth, and then like, I don't know, had a boxing match or like something physical with a long waiting period until it actually happened, I think here the revolution would kind of happen in the middle of this waiting period with tensions high and stirring. So I think the formula for revolution is, well, I don't know. I've never studied revolutions that severely. But I'd say that probably at least you need an emotional argument. Emotional argument that's void of reasoning and logic, obviously. That is close to a large population of people. So like this can't happen in, you know, Colorado or Utah or Wyoming or somewhere with fucking nobody there. This has to be LA, Raleigh, North Carolina, New York, Florida. Wait, it'd have to be somewhere that's a 50-50 state. So it can't be LA because LA is blue, I'm pretty sure. It fucking seems like it. So Texas is red, I think. Let's go with the East Coast, because East Coast kind of in the middle. East Coast, Middle East of the United States, so a little bit left to the East Coast. Let's call it, I don't know, Tennessee and over, right? The line where Tennessee is. All these states will target. So, should we do a race thing or a sex thing? Well, if it was a sex thing, women would lose, for obvious reasons. So let's do a race thing. But what's more serious than George Floyd? It'd have to be somebody... a betrayal! So someone who's an advocate for the black community betrays blacks publicly. Worse than a murder? To stir this fermentation? Oh. A rape. Oh my god. A hypothetical rape. Oh man, this is getting bad. I think like... Well, who would they go against? Because it'd be internal, because the guy doing it would be an advocate. Okay, let's say he's an advocate, but he's not African American. And he switches teams after the rape. Jesus, this is terrible. But this is a hypothetical. So that could do it. Or just, we could put all this shit aside. That would be people-to-people revolution. The fermentation of a people-to-people revolution. I think another revolution, you could do people-to-government. That would be a little bit easier to orchestrate because, you know, I think both thinks the other is a dumbass. I think both thinks the other is a little retarded. So you could do the people think the government's stupid, the government thinks the people are just dumbasses, and then let's say the government enacts some crazy policy, like, I don't know, locking us in houses for a full year and making us wear shit on our faces, and the people revolt. Obviously, it's got to be something a little worse than that because that didn't work. COVID was weird, dude. It's pretty weird. Anyways, yeah, so people versus government, I think, would probably be the easiest, and it would end the quickest. I think people versus people would be the bloodiest, because it's very, very difficult, because the government can just take control if they want. They're just, you know, National Guard, whatever, shut up. But people to people, it's like there's no leader. So, I mean, there would be a leader, somebody would spawn, but if you kill him, who's going to pop up? It's probably who they're going to target is the leader. The leader be intelligent, capable, probably, I don't know, ex-military or something, whatever. But people to people, it's very difficult to solve because people are as strong as people are. The people are not as strong as the government is. Does that make sense? So it'd be a very, very long fight. The Civil War lasted a few years, you know, but the fucking George Floyd shit was, what, 2 months? You know what I mean? It's like, what, 3-4 months? That shit was quick, you know? Yeah. That rape scenario was crazy. I don't know. I was just thinking of the craziest thing I could. But let's see where we're at. I want to say 14. 24 minutes? What the fuck? Nice. I was just jumping around a lot in this video. Said some really stupid shit. Okay, so fermentation. What else? So, what does fermentation look like, I guess? You could say a deviation from normal behaviors or beliefs. Somebody starts saying something that they don't usually say, moving in a way they don't usually move, talking in a way they don't usually talk. Look at them twice and go, fuck are you thinking about, you know? Especially if I was the guy in charge. I'd be, dude, if I was in charge of something, I'd be vetting everybody. Be like, Who's the enemy here? Because you never really know. Take a bite of my fucking oatmeal. Because after this, I'm going to the gym. I might just hope I have enough carbs. Let's see if I could take one more bite here. And the rest, I might just put in the fridge. Train of thought lost. Got lost in the dinosaur eggs. Fuck me. What was it saying? Yeah. Oh. How would you spot it? Yeah. People changing from the norm. Especially in terms of nonverbal communication. That would change a lot. Because, like, dude, and back to the cheating example, like, you could tell when something's wrong with your partner, you know? You just feel it. And it's not like one thing they're doing or the other thing that they're doing. It's a bunch of tiny, small, tiny things that come together to formulate something weird. And something being off. And something being not normal. So, I guess you'd look for that in a person. But to do that, you have to know them quite well. Right? You have to know all your subordinates and all the people that are under you pretty decently well. To be able to smell that. And then I guess you could nip it in the bud. If you're Russia, you could just kill them. North Korea, just kill them. Might call it there. I guess. I don't know how interesting that was. I can't believe that was 27 minutes. I might just talk aimlessly for another 7 seconds to get this to a smooth 27 minutes just to appease that. And